This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 1051, Perfect is Too Expensive, by Helene Massicotte of freetopursue.com, and I'm Justin Malik. Happy Saturday. Welcome to one of the only podcasts in the world where blogs are narrated to you for free, with permission from the authors, of course. And I have permission from probably like 100 authors at this point, at least it feels like it. And I'm lucky enough to meet some of them, like today's author, Helene. I'm still working on the pronunciation. It's French-Canadian. So Lee and I spent a lot of time with her at FinCon, which was awesome. She kept us entertained for most of the last night there. We learned a lot about her. I also found out that my narration of her article back in episode 1023 made her cry while they're at FinCon. It didn't mean for that to happen. But anyway, we also got to meet Philip Taylor of PT Money, the Mad Fientist, Mr. Money Mustache, Joshua Becker of Becoming Minimalist. By the way, Joshua Becker has a Simple Money magazine that's only $20 right now for a lifetime subscription. To me, that's more like a donation than a cost. And he's donating half of that back to our podcast if you get it through my link. And you get an extra subscription to gift to someone that wants to simplify their finances. Those bonuses end in just a couple of days, so to check it out, come by oldpodcast.com/money. I'll have that linked in this episode's description. For now, let's get right to today's post and start optimizing your life. Perfect is Too Expensive, by Helene Massicotte of freetopursue.com. In a recent post about going live on YouTube, I mentioned the often drawn-out process involved in turning dreams into reality, and that drawn-out process occurs only if we're lucky. The alternative is that whatever we were working on never materializes or quickly gets mothballed. If you're like me, what I see as an outcome in my mind's eye needs to be perfect, and that need for perfection sometimes keeps me stuck in a constant loop of, I'll be ready once It can keep me from taking that critical first step that moves a dream towards reality. I usually eventually do take that first step, but that's not saying much because by the time I do, I've usually wasted a considerable chunk of time. Sometimes it's days, sometimes weeks, sometimes even months or years. That chunk of time usually correlates with how big of a deal I think the project is. As I mentioned in that post, when I set the goal to go on YouTube, I expected to be up and running at the beginning of the year. I read up on the necessary software in the fall of 2017 and also purchased the equipment I needed to be ready to go early in the year. I even reserved a few different YouTube channels to make sure I had the names safe and sound and ready for me. I'm good to go, right? In January, I started filming. I filmed a total of 48 videos up to and including last week. And my total uploads so far? 1. I'm even surprised I have 1 up. What's amazing to me is that I really want this, yet I'm still what-ifing myself to death. I'm in a constant state of worry about one or more of the following. I'm worried about the implications of success. Am I committing to something that will become a huge obligation, displacing other things I want to be doing? I'm concerned about whether I'll manage to keep going and whether I'll feel like an idiot if I don't. I'm worried about stretching myself too thin by trying to do it all. I wonder about the amount of effort I need to put into the product, filming raw footage, editing, learning the ins and outs of video-based social media. And this is from someone who's constantly expanding her comfort zone in all sorts of areas. So I know I can't be alone in this. Enter John Acuff. His book Finish came to the rescue, assuring me that I'm in good company. It just so happens that part of the human condition, at least based on his assumption we are raised in North America, is to want to take on too much by seeking to set a perfect sounding goal, execute on it with precision, and achieve or exceed what we set out to do. Anything less than a flawless execution is simply not acceptable. And if we falter at any point, there's no point in continuing. We may as well throw in the towel if we're not going to be able to give ourselves an A+. Sound familiar? Yeah, I figured as much. I could think of many projects that have gone by the wayside because of this type of thinking, and it's a shame. Luckily, I can say that not all my projects have gone the way of the dodo, but a fair number of them have. That said, they don't have to reach the same fate going forward. What I need to remember is that my worst critic of all is little old me, at least in the moment. I say in the moment because I never seem to regret having tried something new or having taken on a project in the past, even if I ultimately abandoned it. Quote, Goals you refuse to chase don't disappear. They become ghosts that haunt you. Jon Acuff from Finish. What I also need to remember is how much it stinks to reminisce about the things I didn't pull the trigger on because early mess-ups made me throw in the towel, usually just when things were getting interesting. Perfection's hefty price. The illusion of some perfect delivery just beyond our reach doesn't just sabotage how we feel about our performance when we try to better ourselves or try something new. That feeling of doubt that we can actually follow through can materially affect our performance. Wanting to save $500 a month and only saving $400 a month becomes a failure, as opposed to realizing we managed to save a cool $400, which puts us closer to where we want to be than before. So we quit and stop setting money aside. Yet that $400 would have added up to close to $5,000 by year's end. Or wanting to lose 20 pounds and only losing 5 pounds makes us feel like the process is useless, but we're better off than we were before starting our weight loss journey. So we stop focusing on nutrition and gain the 5 pounds back. Meanwhile, doing what worked to lose the 5 pounds could add up to much more success by just sticking with what was working. It might even get us that elusive 20-pound weight loss over time. Or deciding to ask for a 20% salary increase and only getting 15% when we had no intention of looking for another job turns into a failure when that 15% can be put to good use and is money we didn't have access to before making the request. But that 5% that's missing becomes the killjoy, outweighing the significant increase that we successfully secured. Perfection makes us glass not full thinkers, never mind half full. Worse yet, it can make us why bother trying to fill the glass in the first place thinkers. That's just too high of a price to pay. Talk about a negative return on invested effort. I'm really going to watch myself this year. I need to kick a serious amount of perfectionist thinking to the curb and focus on what has gone my way as opposed to what's missing according to a made-up measure of success that I've determined matters for some reason. I need to get out of my head, and based on the dismal success rate of New Year's resolutions, it sounds like I'm in good company. There's no better time than the present to start getting over ourselves and do some pretty good stuff as a result. You just listened to the post titled Perfect is Too Expensive by Helene Massicotte of freetopursue.com. I'll keep this ending nice and short for you today. I'll just mention one more time that Joshua Becker's Simple Money magazine has a lower price just for this month. It's only $20 for a lifetime subscription, and he's giving half of the sales through our link back to our podcast to help keep them going. And if that wasn't enough, it also comes with a subscription you can gift to somebody that ends in about 4 days. So to check it out now, come by oldpodcast.com/money. Thank you for being here and listening every day, including the weekends, and I'll be back tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.